Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video, I'd like to discuss what could be a major problem brewing that could create an escalation in problems for our ports, our trade this October. I'm not even talking about the introduction of the biometric checks this time. That's a whole other level of fail waiting us. No, this is about the fact that a lot of British-based businesses, and maybe businesses in the EU as well, may not be able to process their customs declarations, which means they won't be exporting anything from the start of October. Just as well, trade is traditionally quite low in October, isn't it? Oh, wait, no. It's actually really high. This could be a problem. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So I remember when I first started YouTube years ago, and I had to fill in tax returns for the extra income. And HMRC would try and persuade me to use their online system instead of the paper-based ones. But it was impossible for me to register. It's like, prove who you are. How? What? I didn't have the things necessary to register with their online gateway. It actually took about 2 years before it would acknowledge the information that I was inputting as proof of who I was. In the end, it was actually my paper-based tax returns from the past couple of years that were accepted. And I wonder if there's a similar difficulty for businesses registering on the new CDS, which is the Customs Declaration Service. Because up until Brexit, customs declarations were carried out on a system called Chief. This was launched in 1994, which of course was a little bit after the European single market came into effect. Roughly 30 years later, and with us suddenly having to complete complex customs declarations for our closest and most important market, never mind further overseas, well, we needed a new system. Hence, CDS. And the switch over from Chief to CDS is at the end of this September. I mean, so far so good. You know, we've got a new system for our post-Brexit trading arrangements, fine. And we've got a transition period. We didn't implement it immediately. We had a transition period to allow businesses to make that change in their own time. It all sounds fine up until now. Only there are apparently quite a lot of businesses that just haven't made that transition yet. According to Lodestar, which is a journal for the logistics industry, HMRC contacted 220,000 businesses last month to remind them that they need to prepare for the September deadline. And being honest, you don't want to leave it to the last minute for this. Like, first, they need to be able to make sure they're familiar with CDS while they still have Chief as a backup. Second, there might be a rush on to get registered and too much load on the system. Third, they may end up with an experience similar to mine with the tax returns. If the computer says no when they try to register, they'll be wanting to sort that out without the pressure of a countdown. And that gets me to thinking, why haven't these businesses made the switch already? I mean, CDS presumably is a more modern system. Must be better than Chief. I get that switching from a system you're familiar with to a new one can be stressful, but they know they need to do it. And once you've done it and you're used to it, surely the new system would be better. Well, what if it isn't? Because I am thinking there's got to be a reason why so many businesses haven't done it. In the Lodestar article, it was suggested that some businesses are not making the switch because they expect the government to extend the deadline. Well, what would make them think that? Well, they've been extending standards checks, coming online for several times now. We were originally supposed to have full customs and standards declarations and checks from the moment we left the single market and customs union, just as EU countries did when we left, start of 2021, apologies. France, Netherlands, Belgium, everywhere else that we traded with, they had their systems online. Why didn't we? We were expected to have ours on, but we weren't ready. So we extended and extended again and again. Like a year later, we have got customs declarations, but limited checks, so smugglers are still having a great time. But we've got no standards checks, really. You know, we don't have the standard systems in place because we can't manage them. Businesses may imagine that because the government keep delaying everything else, that they'll delay this as well. But this is not the expert view. As far as logistics experts seem to be concerned, there's no need to delay. The new system is ready. Like with the customs and standards check, we weren't ready. This system is ready. So there's no need to delay switching off the old system. But it's also been suggested that if even 10% of businesses have not made the transition come the deadline, it'll cause chaos at the ports. The opening line of the article was, and I quote, "UK ports face shit show from 1st of October." I'm guessing shit show is some sort of industry term for less than optimal outcome. They've got just under 11 weeks. According to the CEO of the British Ports Association, they're not expecting disruption at the border, but there will be a delay in processing goods. Now, bear in mind that our post-Brexit systems work on the basis that the lorry doesn't even attempt to drive to the port. It's until all the documentation's in order. But the thing is, there might not be delays at the ports down to this. But this is where the biometric checks could happen. So we may still see that, but something else. But there'll still be delays in the system because that documentation cannot possibly be in order if the exporter is attempting to use the wrong system. From the start of October, Chief is not supported. So unless the new Prime Minister does order a delay, that'll be that. The report suggests that the current government is not interested in a delay. And actually, being fair, nor should they be. I wouldn't order a delay because the danger of delaying it when there's no problem with the new system, purely because a load of traders didn't take the deadline seriously. The problem then is that those traders never will take it seriously. If you delay once and then wag your finger and tell them that the next deadline's serious, well, there's a danger they won't believe you because you've already said that. I mean, it sounds like they already don't believe the government because the general tone of the article was very much one of saying, if this does go tits up, it'll be the fault of the traders. And objectively, it will be. Like, if I've known about this new system for a long time, I'm sure they have. They've had HMRC writing to tell them about it. They've been able to get onto this system for well over a year now. You know, so you can understand, okay, there's busy times of year and there's not so busy times of year. You don't give them just like a few months notice, but they'll have basically had the best part of 2 years notice. There must have been a time when in their business they had the time to do this. If they haven't migrated across to it, it's because they're choosing not to. And here's where I'm thinking myself is, the best time to have migrated would surely have been a calmer time of year. We're about to enter the time of year when trade ramps up a lot, when they're going to be very busy. I've got a very bad feeling about this. But although you can say, yeah, this will be the fault of the traders because they've had long enough, there is also an element, surely, of the boy who cried wolf here. Because think about all the times when the government have said that a Brexit system was being introduced or a big change in trading was being introduced because of Brexit, only for it to be delayed. Well, businesses had to get themselves ready each time. They had to take it seriously each time, only for it to be wasted. Consider what some traders have been through. They were told that we might exit the EU without a deal. We'd just crash out in spring 2019. So then they had to stockpile for that. Then it didn't happen. Same thing a bit later. Didn't happen. A few months after that, didn't happen. Then we were told we were leaving the single market and customs union at the start of 2021. It's definite now, but it wasn't certain. It was like, oh, the pandemic. Will we? Won't we? They were not sure. In the end, that wasn't delayed, but they weren't sure. You know, we didn't get the deal itself until a few days before, so we weren't sure. Then they deferred customs declarations and didn't bother with standards or customs checks. Then they delayed the standards checks again last summer, then last winter, then again this summer. Part of me understands that some businesses who may find the process of migrating to the new system time-consuming and stressful choose to work on the basis that, do you know what, the government haven't bothered with a deadline so far, they might not again. It's just, I think this deadline's real. So what are the consequences? Well, first thing to know is that trade ramps up, like I said, over the second half of the year. We will see an increase in demand for freight from August. A big jump up in September, and it basically ramps up all the way until Christmas. Then it drops off a cliff. You know, the levels of trade are not consistent across the year at all. Nothing like it. Yeah, the fact, I question why this deadline was set for October in the first place. Surely mid to late January would have seemed a more sensible time to me. So the consequences for any trader not set up is they're not trading until they are. So what might be their busiest time of year, the time when they actually make a profit, they won't be able to sell their goods abroad. And this isn't just about selling to the EU, this is anywhere around the world. And that means with our economy already struggling under the weight of 12 years of the most reckless Tory rule we've ever seen, Some businesses are going to be completely knackered until they get sorted on the new system. Because it's not just a case of migrating to the new system, is it? That might only take a day for all I know. It might take a few days. I don't know. But learning to use it as well. And customs are not an easy process. I mean, I've dabbled a little, not actually having to fill them in, but I've tried to appraise myself of the processes. I keep being mindful of the fact there must be a reason why so many traders haven't done it yet. If it was a quick and easy process, they'd have surely already done it. Even if they didn't think the deadline was real. It'd be like, well, we've got to use the new system at some point. This is a quiet time for us. Let's just get it done now. You know, there was a worrying line from someone from the European Shippers Council at the end of the article about the prospect for this going badly wrong. Bear in mind, this system isn't just for British exporters. It's to foreign traders wanting to move goods into Britain as well. This could bite EU traders on the arse and present another barrier to sell into the British market. Remember, it's way easier for European suppliers to sell to other people in the single market and customs union. Way easier. There's already barriers to sell into Britain. This would be another one. At just the time when we're not just exporting a lot of goods, but importing as well, this could be real trouble. And you know what a shortage of goods means? Higher prices. At a time when we already are expecting a further hike in the cost of energy, unless the government intervenes, which I don't expect them to. And despite this essentially being an issue of traders being stubborn about using the new system, we have to bear the following in mind. First, if so many traders are reluctant to migrate, that suggests that the process has not been made as easy as possible. That's speculation on my part. I'm not a trader, but I just keep coming to this. There has to be a reason why so many haven't made the move. Even if they don't believe the deadline, there has to be a reason why they've just thought, it's too much trouble. And second, and this is certain, it's only because of our hard Brexit this is even an issue. If we'd at least remained in the customs union single market, none of this would have been a thing. So as much as the government might, in some sense, reasonably blame others if it does become a shit show, if it weren't for their extreme Tory Brexit, it would never have happened. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. I hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, the join button for memberships. And until next time, I'll see you later.